Welcome back to the Pain Game, and Khamzat Chimaev is now the middleweight champion of the UFC. And as amazing of an achievement as that is, it took so much longer than I thought he would, and it's taken such a different path than I originally expected. You know, he burst onto the scene. He was so exciting to watch that after a whole bunch of hiccups and problems and a title fight that really didn't live up to the hype. As great a talent as Khamzat is, it just felt anticlimactic. This was Khamzat's debut in the UFC. He stopped Phillips with a submission here, and it was impressive. It was so impressive that they let Khamzat come back just 10 days later for another fight. I've never seen anything like it. Like, the whole of the UFC fan base were like, 10 days later? What the fuck are we watching here? So dominant each time he stepped in the cage. So they put him back in the cage a couple months later, and this is how he delivered. I mean, it was just one of the most exciting beginnings of a UFC career that we'd ever seen. And it's like, not only can he wrestle, not only can he, submit you, the guy can knock you clean out with the first punch of the fight. And I understand that it was almost impossible to live up to that level of hype to start off with, but to say the hype train was derailed would be the understatement of a century. He was the hottest prospect in the UFC. He'd had 3 stoppages in 3 months. Then COVID took him out for a year, and it was talk of retirement. It was like, what the fuck is going on with this guy? Will we ever see him again? And we went from 3 fights in 3 months to 6 fights in 5 years. I mean, he had a very tough fight with Gilbert Burns, and I mean, what we got rocked there, man. Gilbert Burns, he wasn't a UFC champion, but he was a highly respected contender. But I think that was a bit of a reality check for everyone on Khamzat of like, where is he right now? And he clearly has weaknesses. He then came back and submitted Kevin Holland, but unfortunately he missed weight, and you're just thinking, there's always something with this guy. And that was basically the end of his time as a welterweight, which was a shame because a lot of people were thinking he could be a 2-weight world champion. He is that good, but you just can't trust him to even make weight. Then we see him in with Kamaru Usman a whole year later between fights, and as you can see here, Usman gave him some problems, and the key with this fight was Usman took this on like a week's notice. So as much as we respect Usman, he's one of the all-time greats in my opinion, Usman had just rolled out of bed. Actually, a lot of people before that fight were actually saying that Usman is over the hill, is done. I think Usman proved a lot considering how many other people have struggled with Khamzat, and again it left us with more questions than answers about Khamzat of where the hell is his level really. And I think the fight that really gave us some of those answers was Robert Whittaker. We all rate Robert Whittaker very highly. One of the best middleweights of all time. All right, he might not be the best. He just absolutely mauled him, and he didn't maul him in a way of just lying on top of him and not doing anything. He did it in such a way where it was so aggressive. He was fighting for the finish. It was so impressive. You see here, get some distance between the two, starts wailing on him with them punches, and manages to sink the choke in, and immediately taps out Robert Whittaker. He had such a grip on his face that he kind of crushed his teeth into his fucking skull. That for me was the rocket ship moment for Khamzat. It was an amazing win, his best win ever, in the best way possible. And now it was time to put the rocket ship on him and take this kid to the moon. He is the next big star in the UFC. Bearing in mind, he'd actually had to pull out of that fight against Robert Whittaker previous to that and come back later in the year to do it. And despite all of the good signs and the excitement after that fight, it was another fucking year of sitting around and waiting for Khamzat to fight again. And that for me is a massive red flag for the UFC, because you can't, strap the promotional rocket ship on him and push this guy to the moon if he's not fighting regularly. You look at the Adesanyas, the Pereiras, the fighters who have crossed over into the mainstream, and I believe Khamzat has the personality, the talent, and all of the things to do that, but he just doesn't turn up regularly. Once a fucking year, when you've been, in your mid-20s to early 30s, the prime of your career, the time where you're fighting more than ever, it makes no fucking sense to me. I don't know if he can't be arsed. I don't know what the problem is, but it ain't normal. Which brings us on to the Dricus du Plessis fight. Now, Dricus has been a hell of a champion, and I had high hopes for this fight. I was really excited to see these two lock horns. Now, it started exactly how I thought it would. I mean, Khamzat, 5 seconds, goes for the takedown, and he's on top, and he's in control. But previously, where we've seen that control turn into ground and pound, submissions, damage, he just didn't want to take any kind of risks to do that. And poor Dricus, he was a fish out of water on the ground. I mean, he did not have a fucking clue. And look, the crucifix pin, it's very effective when you've still got enough distance to do the damage. But, you know, and early on in the fight, there's a little bit of zip on these, but Dricus covered up. I mean, those punches were doing fuck all. They were doing nothing. And fight fans, we don't tune in to see this do it. Not at all. And when du Plessis did have energy early on the fight, he tried to explode out and get out. He just didn't have the know-how. You know, as strong a guy as he is, he's just struggling like fucking, just gets taken down every single time. The levels between, you know, the wrestling of these two was insanely big, considering Chimaev is the challenger. And in the second round, du Plessis changed as a fighter. He's already thinking negatively, defensively. He's not able to be the confident, offensive fighter that he is. He's an attacker. He's a front-runner fighter. He's just a shadow of himself mentally within 5 minutes of stepping in there. And Khamzat was just content to just lay on him, drain him, and not really achieve a great deal, but know that you're draining the guy's gas tank. That was enough to win the round. Round 3, and you can just tell du Plessis did not grow up wrestling. And as much as he's obviously worked on it, physically, he's quite a blocky, powerful guy, and his hips, he's not a very agile guy, right? You can't just swivel his hips the way some fighters can and pick this sort of stuff up. He's not made to be a defensive wrestler at all. He ends up in the crucifix pin, where Khamzat is got his legs just pinned to the ground, his chest to chest, and yes, he's punching him, but what damage is that doing, really, right? It's not doing a lot, but he's making it so that du Plessis is nullifying any aggression from him, any attack whatsoever. And my main complaint about this is more the negativity from Khamzat. Yes, you're controlling him, but what are you actually doing with that control? You know, wrestling is like a vehicle to get the fight where you want it so that you can then do the fucking damage. And to do the damage, you got to create some distance so that your fist can actually fucking travel to get there and actually hurt him on impact. Doing this, you look like you're fucking sawing on a fucking... You're not doing anything, really, to him. Yes, you're draining him. Yes, you're winning the rounds, whatever. This is ultimate fighting, not ultimate control. And the reason he didn't want to create that distance and go for ground and pound or potentially go more aggressive on the submissions is because that takes risk. And when you're risking it, he may be able to transition out of it, defend it, or throw an armbar up or something like that. And he just didn't even want to give him a chance. And I get that. But it's only a fight when there's a path of resistance, yeah? And the skill gap between Khamzat and du Plessis was so huge in that one department that there was no resistance. And that usually means that the guy who has no defense to what you can do is going to get finished quickly. But there was just no desire to go after it. And when you look at the career that Khamzat has had prior to this without all of the stumbles and issues, that aggression was what made us immediate fans of this guy. And I'm not saying, you know, just standing bang, chin in the air like an idiot. But you've got him right where you want him. It's not even that big of a risk. We're not asking you to go and fight like an idiot. You have the fight where you want it. People are paying good money for this. And you're just not even giving it a show at all. And yes, it's a sport, but it's fucking show business as well. And let's be real here. None of us became fans of MMA watching this shit. Not one. Look at him holding him. Look at that. Well, that looks so weird, man. What is this?
But you can say, baby,
baby, can I hold you tonight? Round 4. You can just see how discombobulated du Plessis is because he's just not used to being controlled like this. And as the fight went on, it was just more and more and more of that. Chest to chest, hot and sweaty action with not a lot of combat. Just a lot of this, yeah, get down, baby. Come on. And the sad thing for me is I just really believe in Khamzat's talent. I think he is a very, very talented fighter. And I just don't think he was in the right frame of mind to show that talent. Yeah, you showed you can control someone, you can lay on top of them. Well done. I never want to watch that again. Remember the old Khamzat mentally where he'd shout afterwards, I kill everybody! What happened to that? Because all you're killing now is my will to watch 25 minutes of that shit. And I think that combined with all the delays in watching Khamzat fight and all of the pullouts and all of the weight misses and all the nonsense. As much as he's now champion, I think his stock is actually lower than when he first burst onto the scene and he was the most exciting fighter in the UFC. Because we now know, really, you got that to look forward to in about 12 months' time. And that's your middleweight division fucked. Now, to be fair, some people disagree. I'm going to put their points across. A few of the UFC fighters, actually. And now, a word word from our sponsors. Do you have a wardrobe of clothes that don't even actually fit you right? Well, if you're having a bit of trouble, you need to check out True Classic. See, they want to help you look good and feel good without having to break the bank. And True Classic have nailed it. The fit, the feel, the price across your entire wardrobe. And with over 4 million happy customers and 200,000 positive reviews, you know you're in good company. And as some of you might remember, I've been wearing True Classic for a while now, and from the minute you put the t-shirt on, you feel the difference. It's tighter fitting where you want it, and it's a little bit loose where maybe you don't want it so tight. Just a clean, effortless fit that works in real life. And maybe take a look at their polos that are perfect for hot weather and look really smart as well. True Classic really is the most comfortable brand on the market, and the best bit is it comes with a 100% perfect fit guarantee and super easy returns. So level up your wardrobe now. Click the link in the description below. Go to trueclassic.com/true and pick yourself out something nice. Big thanks to them, but for now, enjoy the video.
Anyone that says it's a boring fight is a casual, okay? No offense.
None taken. I watch fighting for entertainment. I don't watch fighting for the little intricacies, and I enjoy that side of it, but it's not my priority. I want to see two dudes who are willing to try and damage each other in there, to be courageous, to be better than the average dude walking the street, to be brave, because that's the whole point of being a fighter, right? Is to be brave. And I just don't think when you've got that level of skill and that much control, that it's brave to just lay on top of someone for that long.
If you're a fan of the sport, okay, and you're not absolutely fascinated by the ability, like by Chimaev's ability to control someone who's as dogged and fights out of things like Dricus, who's done it time and time again, who's physically never gasses anymore, like super strong, has cardio for days, is prepared for him.
Has he prepared for him? He didn't fucking look prepared for him. It looked like a black belt versus a white belt in that regard. His takedown defense was non-existent. What is entertaining about watching a guy who's so skilled in one department take a guy down who hasn't got a clue how to defend it and then go chest to chest with him for 25 minutes? What is entertaining about that?
If you're not fascinated by like such a one-sided domination, man, then you have to be a casual.
I don't think anyone should want to watch a one-sided fight. The whole point of fights is the competitive element to it. That wasn't competitive, but it also wasn't so dominant that you were able to stop the guy. It was a weird position where you do so little damage that the guy can just lay there and take these little shots for 25 minutes. Like Khamzat landed 510 strikes to 56. He controlled him for 22 minutes of a 25-minute fight. And that was the face of DDP after 500 strikes. Is that not something wrong with this picture? Why has he not got a fucking mark on it? Because the strikes were doing no damage.
You never see this.
And I never want to.
At championship fights, this level of control, man, we just saw someone get crucifixed for like 15 minutes.
Oh, get your popcorn out. Just watching two men lay on top of each other for that long. For some men in the audience, that might have been quite arousing, but not for me. Mighty Mouse has also defended it by saying, if you don't want to watch grappling, wrestling, and jiu-jitsu, don't watch UFC. Go watch one, go watch something else, basically. We've seen many great grappling matches in MMA when, one guy is throwing up submissions, trying to finish the fight, or using the wrestling dominance to land devastating ground and pound. When you go in there and don't even bother, it's just not impressive. Mighty Mouse says, look, if you don't want to watch his style, all you've got to do is click the off button. And believe me, there's a reason why MMA is going downhill in regards to viewing figures. That's not up for debate. And it's shit like this, that's exactly why. It's hurting the sport. And if you want to encourage that, fair enough. Mighty Mouse is a legend, no disrespect, but this is not good for the sport of MMA. It can't be. And to just say, oh, you're a casual if you don't enjoy this, I think that's a shit argument, actually. I've been watching MMA for 20 fucking years. I've enjoyed watching many different wrestlers over the years. I don't have a problem with wrestling. Just do something with it. Yes, you've got control. Now what? And I think encouraging this in MMA is only going to hurt the sport even more, because then what reason do we have to say people take risks? The fighters who built this sport, truthfully, are the ones who took the risks, are the ones who made you go, wow, I can't believe he did that. Why was it impressive when Anderson Silva did the things he did? Is because no one else had the balls to take those kind of risks or the skill. Khamzat's got the skill. For some reason, He doesn't want to even take the slightest risk in this fight. And you can't tell me it was because Dricus was such a threat to him, because he had him right where he fucking wanted for 25 minutes. Speaking of Dricus, I think this was a very humbling moment. I heard him talking about being the GOAT and stuff like this before this fight. I think he had no idea what the fuck he was about to experience. The legend Ben Askren, who I hope is on the mend and seems to be doing well, thank God, said, man, DDP has got some serious heart, but he needs some sprawls to go with it. I mean, just nailed it. Yeah, I appreciate the heart of Plessis. He didn't quit, but how can you be a defending champion and go into a fight that ignorant to the level of skill that your opponent has got? And you might be thinking I'm being harsh. This is what he said before the fight.
I think a mistake people make is they go into a defensive mindset when they fight Khamzat. Don't get taken down.
Yeah.
Don't get taken down. And if he comes, move away from him, try and run away and not get taken down. You cannot let that happen. Because in his mind, he already knows you don't want to wrestle with him. In his mind, he already knows he's going to get you eventually. The gate is locked.
Yeah.
You have to go out there and, so what if you get taken down? Get back up. Yeah. That is, it's part of the game.
He fought like someone who'd never practiced getting back up. He said all of that. He knew what was coming. And yet he never really looked like he had a clue how to get back onto his feet. And I actually don't think he's a bad grappler. Like, offensively, I've seen him submit a load of black belts quite easily. But when it comes to protecting himself and knowing how to scramble, not a clue, mate. And that might be because of his coach, who doesn't sound like the smartest guy, if I'm being honest. This was what he said before the fight.
We don't want to try to get away from his wrestling. We want to him up in his game. You can't think that you're going to beat my guy coming with one thing, and that's wrestling.
That's exactly what he thought was going to happen. That's exactly what happened.
That guy's one-dimensional. Have you seen me stand up? I won't even give him a pro license for his stand-up.
Here's what he had to say after the fight.
I just didn't think that he will try to do that for 5 rounds.
You literally said he's one-trick pony, bro. You literally said that before the fight.
We were communicating between the rounds. I think after the third, I said to Dricus, okay, we are 3 down now. Do you want to take him down? And he said to me, coach, he's too wet.
You're the fucking coach, man. Look at the way that fight was going. How on earth are you going to come out with some dumb shit like, do you want to take him down after 3 rounds solid of being mauled by this guy? What on earth makes you think that his wrestling is going to in any way be capable of doing that when he's knackered? Fucking idiot.
Early next year, back for the belt. I'm not going to let Dricus just fight and be a ranked fighter. Ranked fighters are for other guys, not for us. We want the belt back. I won't just take a fight because fights are available. I want to fix this problem. We're going to face Khamzat and I want to destroy him this time.
He's talking like, yeah, a few months, we'll be back. We're going to work on this. We're going to come back. The skill gap we're talking about isn't just going to be fixed in a few fucking months, mate. It could take years and you could still get nowhere near it. I don't blame him for wanting to try, don't get me wrong, but to say, just a few months stuff and takedowns will be ready. No, mate. You can't do that in a few months. This guy is light years ahead of you. And you're the one who had all the footage on Khamzat and sent him in there in the first place underprepared. In my opinion, Dricus needs to get rid of this guy, like, and go to somewhere where he has a prayer of learning the level of skill. And I think it's probably impossible, but he does not fill me with any confidence at all. Fucking hell, poor bastard. So Khamzat is the champion, and look, I massively respect his talent, and I do think when he's up for it and when he's mentally ready, he is one of the most exciting fighters to watch. But I never want to see a performance like that from him again, because he has the ability to do what a Khabib did in crossing over into the mainstream. He has that polarizing personality that people can connect with. And as a wrestler, he might be the best wrestler I've ever seen in MMA. GSP, Khabib, I put him right up there with those guys, if not better. But I'm going to need you to do more, mate. Am I being harsh? Let me know in the comments below. Were you excited? Did you enjoy that? Am I in the wrong? Or do you agree with me? Are you also a casual, as they're calling us? Let me know. Hit the like button. Subscribe to the Pain Game YouTube channel. I'll see you on the next one.